ShinRobjira.
Today we're going to be talking about the latest from the Bandai movie monster series, that being King Ghidorah 1991, and finally Ebirah 1966 from Ebirah Horror of the Deep. Up first, let's take a look at Ghidorah, because I'm more excited for Ebirah than I am Ghidorah. This tag is magnificent. I love it. You got Ghidorah up in the corner over here, bunch of smoke and land beneath him. This is a great looking tag. Back of the tag, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Bandai movie monster series, with the tag cut out to the side of Ghidorah's wing. Bunch of stuff on the inside. And now let's toss this in the draft folder so we can get a better product out of it. So right up front, King Ghidorah over here is very, very shiny and very gold. That ain't no camera trickery either. Just look at this shiny spud. I love it. I really do. Let's just get this out of the way first before I move on any further. Yes, this figure does not scale all that well with 1991 Goji. There were a lot of errors floating around for a bit, including from myself, yet again. But like I originally predicted, this guy's price was entirely because of his wings and not because he was a bigger figure. But does that make this figure bad? Is his size really a deterrent? For me personally, no. And I might be in the odd one out there just because I'm really not crazy about this Ghidorah design. Honestly, when this was first announced, I was extremely excited. Of course, a new King Ghidorah figure, great. But as the hype died down, it really started sticking to my brain that this probably should have been a Showa-era Ghidorah. How many Heisei King Ghidorahs do we have at this point? Enough. But one of the things I love the most about this new mold is just that there are going to be differences in the three heads. Slightly opened mouth, super opened mouth, closed mouth. Did it really need to take this long and a $36 price tag to finally do that for a King Ghidorah figure? I guess so. And with all due respect, the detail that King Ghidorah is sporting on his three noggins over here, it's really, really impressive. Like, just look at all that gnarly looking detail there, man. Gold Foily Boy over here is going to be rocking quite a bit of detail up here, both in terms of scales, wrinkles, his noses, and his horns too. This time around looking less like ice cream cones and looking more so like horns, which for the most part are somewhat individually sculpted, at least until we get over here. Credit where it is due, King Ghidorah do be looking ferocious in the facial region. But as we move from the faces to the bottom of the necks, to the chest, to the crotch, thighs, and feet, it's more so going to be the same. Which is accurate for this design, so no issue here. This feathery armor-plated look is going to move on over into King Ghidorah's wings over here, which are indeed massive. And I mean, come on. From the right angle, holy god, that is imposing. And yeah, it's all gold. I like the detail for the membranes. I like the detail for the very ends of the wings over here, even though they're really not detailed. They're just kind of there. The bitty toes over here be looking pretty nice as well. Moving to the back of the... Holy crap, man. I'm sorry. This just looks so damn cool. Ugh. Yeah, when these wings catch the light, they surely do catch the friggin' light. They shine. All of the detail is going to be illuminated. And it's not just the wings, it's pretty much every inch of Ghidorah, from his butt to his twin clubbed tails over here. The clubbed tails are a little on the small side, but they do look nice. I mean, detail and paint-wise, they're gold and they look like clubbed tails. What can you say? And the same could really be said for the underside of the tail as well. Gold and shiny. Detailed to heck and back. On the bottom of the feet we can see Trademark and Toho Company Limited and Bandai China, bunch of numbers and then more numbers. Yeah, he might not be an 8 to 10 inch figure, but when you have him in your hands, he definitely feels a lot bigger than he looks. I gotta stop. But before I give my rating, I want to take a closer look at these heads, the piercing red eyes, the black slit pupils, the silver teeth, my guys, my gals, my pals. I think Bandai did a damn good job, and I'm a pretty big fan of the fact that they painted the inside of the mouth as well as these forked tongues. Very, very nice. Good show, Bandai. And yes, both the bottom and the tops of both of these mouths over here will be painted, and the eyes look like they're mostly obviously looking straight dead ahead. This guy's eye over here looks a little on the lazy side, but Kevin is staring directly into your soul. Yeah, I'd consider this a win for Bandai. I think they did Heisei Ghidorah some much-deserved justice. Surely it'll be his giant fuck-off wings and shiny disposition that'll capture all the eyes in the room. But for me personally, what's really going to win my heart is just looking at this guy under the right amount of lighting and seeing all of this fantastic detail in the heads. The body too, of course. But I gotta say, these wings, man. These are the big winners here, for more reasons than you can see. I'm gonna give Heisei King Ghidorah a solid star in terms of paint and detail. And seriously, man, these friggin' wings, they're huge. I like it. Articulation time. So as you can see, there's going to be no seams at the neck over here. There are some slight seams at the heads over here, but they are very much glue sealed. Which leads us to the legs, which can go all the way around on both sides, don't you know? And then we move over to the tail, which can't move at all. But thank God Bandai heard my prayers. Because these wings over here, they fully rotate. Oh, thank God. I have missed this on Ghidorah figures for the past couple of years. KOTM Ghidorah, Ride Ghidorah, all that shizno. This is something I need every King Ghidorah figure to be outfitted with, because I can fold the wings up like so. I can keep the tag nice and protected in there. And just like that, he's not going to be a massive shelf hog. Yeah, he doesn't look as visually impressive, but my shelves thank you, Bandai. I do too. I can forgive the lack thereof articulating heads for these rotatable wings, so articulation, solid star. Yeah, I do be missing the head articulation. But again, my shelves thank you, Bandai. Quick little size comparison marathon for King Ghidorah over here. Yeah, he's not the giant monster we were really hoping he would be. But at the end of the day, he's big, he's shiny, he's got 3 heads, he's a damn space dragon. It's King Ghidorah. What more could you really ask for? I know, a bigger size, I get it. While this isn't the most hyped figure of the movie Monster Series drop of March 25th, this is definitely a welcomed one. I initially got less and less excited for this figure as the release date drew near, but now that I finally have it in hand and I'm like really looking at it and seeing him shine in the light, I'm so glad I picked this up. I think I actually like this one 1,000,000 times more than one of the original King Ghidorah figures. For looks and shelf presence alone, I think this dude absolutely slaps butt cheeks. In the good way. I really do think 2023 1991 Ghidorah did it better. There's nothing wrong with this guy. He's a bona fide classic at this point. But the more accurate looking heads, the snarls on them, versus that. Yeah, I don't know, man. This guy, like, he's got the ingenuity to him. This guy's got the history to him. At the end of the day, I mean, we got 2 Heisei King Ghidorah figures on camera. Let's be happy about it, huh? But do I think the original-ish, I know this isn't the original Heisei King Ghidorah, but does this one do it better than this one? I don't think so. Moving on. Friends, neighbors, lovers and close ones, the day is finally here. Movie Monster Series Ebirah is a real thing. And I love it to death. But first off, let's take a look at this tag. Definitely not the image I was expecting. Ain't that right, Kaiju Fanatic? Mwah. But definitely welcomed. My man about to hit the stir fry over here. Look at him leaping into the air like that. I love it, I love it, I love it. But anyway, Ebirah 1966, Godzilla 2023. The back of the tag, we will see, I guess that's Godzilla versus the sea monster, or Godzilla's sea monster. I actually don't know what any of this means. Somebody please educate me, because I'm stupid. But yeah, Bandai Movie Monster Series, Bandai Namco. Opening the tag up, we've got a little silhouette of Ebirah over here, a whole bunch of other stuff, and scene. Let's pop this guy into the wok and start frying for dinner, yeah? Now I'm going to openly admit, I have a bias for Ebirah, as Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, was my first Godzilla film ever. This hors d'oeuvre over here was the very first monster I ever saw Godzilla fight. So I have a bit of an attachment thing with this guy. So this is like a hyper-emotional moment for me. Now I bet you're all probably wondering, Rob, if that's your first Godzilla monster and you clearly feel so strongly about it, why don't you have more? Man's expensive! I do have this lovely little gentleman, which I got thanks to the help of my friend Will, or Space Tree Studios. Thank you again, Will! Yeah, I'll probably be talking about this guy at some point soon. Look at it! Black dry brushing all over this red vinyl figure. I love how this looks so much. Yes, he looks a little extra burnt on the edges over here, but this overall look for this figure is so very welcomed. I mean, just look at that. It's so simple. Maybe a little on the heavy-handed side in some areas, but seriously, I can't help but love how it looks. Yes, it's not, you know, crazy awesome or anything like that. Definitely not going to cause Jesus to rise from the grave in a gasp at just how amazing it is. But me personally, fam, this is an absolute win. And I absolutely meant it when I said one of my favorite figures of the year already. Now let's take a look at his little underbelly going on over here. Lots of fantastic detail. Love what they did with the legs. And this is what I meant by a little heavy-handed in some areas. There are some legs? Is there a scientific name for legs like these? Got a little bit more color than the rest of them, but the detail that's brought forth from the color, even when they don't have a lot of color on them, it's fantastic. I really, really love it, and I'm so sorry, everybody, but I'm gonna gush here. Look at that. That is so friggin' awesome. That is a face that I'm sure not even a mother could love, but I love it anyway. He's got his little mouth over here. He's got his little beard going on. There's even some minor detailing on his little eye stalks over here. And I really do love that his little eyes are actually discernible from the base color of the figure, which is something that yet again Bandai's promo photos really didn't do much justice for. Absolutely fantastic. Just want to do another flyby over here on his back. Seriously, I love how this guy was painted up. I'm sure he had much more color on him, but the way it's presented here, it makes me very, very happy. Now, when taking a look at the claws over here, lots of great detail, a lot more of this dry brushing method going on one side. Yeah, that was a bummer. All of this whimsical detail encapsulating dry brushing is only going to be on one side. Much like the top versus the bottom, the insides of the arms were left rather bare. But you know what? At least the detail looks swell. And just so I have it in writing, yes, Ebirah's antennae will be on the side of his body over here. Sure, it would have been great if they were full antennae not fused to his body, but look at that face, you can't be mad at that. Don't know where the other set of antennae are. There's no indication below his head or even on his torso that there's another pair of antennae, so maybe that is just what these are, just shortened. I'm going to give my absolute favorite little seafood hors d'oeuvre boy over here that I absolutely hate the taste of a solid star in terms of paint and detail. It's just too damn good, man. Well, the detail is, the paint does leave a little bit to be desired on the underside, but this is something that we've grown accustomed to in the last couple of years of the Movie Monster series, and yeah, too much of a bias on my end for me to openly criticize it to a point where I would give it anything less. So, articulation. Ebirah is a simple man. He just rotates at the arm. Nothing at the head, nothing at the torso, nothing at the legs over here, nothing at the tail. It's just arms, which is about exactly what I was expecting. Solid star in terms of articulation, because at first glance I thought maybe the arms. But I'm glad that we actually did get the arms. Oh my god, I can't wait to put this guy on his shelf. Anyway, size comparisons for Ebirah. Unlike Ghidorah to some extent, this Ebirah is actually a lot bigger than I was expecting, which I do so love. So if it wasn't going to be his roasted red color that would be catching eyes as they're looking at shelves now, it's going to be the roasted red shell and just the sheer size of this guy. Yeah, he ain't ginormous, but again, definitely much bigger than expected, which I do so appreciate, Bandai. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now that I finally have my very own Ebirah Horror of the Deep, now I just gotta wait for my very own Ebirah Horror of the Final Wars Deep. Do it up, Bandai. Let's make it happen. And you know what? SH Monster Arts. Make it happen. Day one. No complaining. Would buy. So far, pretty positive first wave of reviews, don't you think? Ghidorah wowed me in ways that I wasn't expecting. Ebirah wowed me in ways that I was absolutely mostly expecting. And while my bias for the seafood hors d'oeuvre boy over here is ringing true and strong, I gotta admit, even if I didn't love this monster as much as I do, I think I'd still be just as impressed. Because yet again, the promo pictures didn't do him any goddamn favors. But anyway, I've been ShinRobjira. I do so hope you all enjoyed. Please check out all my social media, including my Patreon, where for $1 a month, you'll have access to everything. Early posts, early pictures, the whole 9 yards, and more stuff in the future. And when next we meet, I will be talking about the Bandai movie monster series Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla with the DLC costume, I guess.